The awakening of humanity's resolve. The vast void of space seemed tranquil, the stars a silent audience to the drama unfolding on the outskirts of humanity's newest colony, Aurora Prime. Nestled on the edge of known space, Aurora Prime was a testament to human resilience and ambition. Its lush fields, thriving ecosystems, and towering cities represented a beacon of hope for countless settlers seeking a fresh start. But that hope turned to dread when the heavens tore open. The alien fleet emerged without warning, their vessels shimmering like liquid obsidian, absorbing the light of the twin suns. Their arrival wasn't preceded by a diplomatic message or a ceremonial announcement. Instead, they delivered their intentions through destruction. Plasma bolts rained down from the fleet, their impact shattering the serene colony below. The agricultural domes, which had taken years to perfect, disintegrated in mere seconds. What once promised nourishment for millions now drifted as glittering debris in the vacuum of space. On board Horizon Command, the orbital station tasked with overseeing the colony, Commander Erin Vallis stared in stunned silence through the reinforced viewport. Her fingers tightened around the steel railing, her knuckles white with tension. The alarms blaring through the station were almost drowned out by the sickening sound of metal groaning under the strain of distant impacts. "They're not even broadcasting a demand," Lieutenant Harris muttered, his voice trembling. "No warnings, no ultimatums. Just this." His words were punctuated by another flash of purple light, signaling yet another devastating blow to the surface below. Commander Vallis tore her gaze from the destruction and turned to her crew. "Status report. Now." "Severe casualties on the surface," Chief Analyst Rena Cutter replied, her voice barely steady. "Bunker systems are cycling, but they weren't designed for this scale of attack. Civilian evacuations air." She paused, swallowing hard. "They're incomplete." Vallis felt her chest tighten. Aurora Prime was home to over 1 million settlers, scientists, engineers, families. Every choice she had made, every sleepless night, had been for them. And now, it was slipping away. Her voice was steady, though her heart raced. "Activate the distress beacon. Contact Earth Command." "Quantum interference field in place," Harris replied, his tone grim. "They've cut us off completely." A shudder rippled through the station as another blast struck its shields. Emergency lights flickered, casting eerie shadows over the control room. Vallis slammed her fist against the console, frustration bubbling over. "They came here to annihilate us," she muttered. "Not conquer, not negotiate, just destroy." Below on Aurora Prime, chaos reigned. The once bustling streets were now filled with panicked colonists racing for shelter. Dr. Kira Holtz, a xenobiologist, had been studying an alien plant in one of the research facilities when the attack began. Now she was leading a group of children toward a bunker, her white lab coat torn and stained with dirt. "Keep moving," she shouted over the roar of collapsing buildings. "We're almost there." A boy tripped, crying out as he scraped his knee. Without hesitation, Kara scooped him up, her arms trembling from exertion, but her determination unwavering. The bunker loomed ahead, its reinforced doors closing slowly as a timer ticked down. Behind them, alien drones descended, their sleek forms cutting through the air like predators. As they reached the threshold, a deafening explosion rocked the ground, sending them sprawling forward. The doors sealed shut just as the drones reached them, their metallic limbs clawing futilely at the reinforced metal. Inside, Kira cradled the boy, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She looked around at the frightened faces of those who had made it. "We'll get through this," she whispered, though she wasn't sure if she believed it herself. Back on Horizon Command, the situation was deteriorating. "They're targeting the reactor now," Harris reported. "If they breach it." "I know what happens," Vallis snapped. She turned to the station's AI interface, its humanoid avatar flickering on a nearby screen. "Is there any way to bypass their interference field?" The AI tilted its head, processing. "Negative. Their technology surpasses current defensive protocols. Valis clenched her fists. Humanity's defenses had been built on cooperation with the Galactic Concord, a loose alliance of alien species that saw humans as promising but inexperienced newcomers. They had shared knowledge, but it was clear now that much had been withheld. These invaders, whoever they were, had come prepared. "Commander," Rena said quietly, "we need to consider abandoning the station." Valis shot her a glare. "And leave the colony to die? Not a chance." The AI interrupted. "Incoming signal detected." "From Earth?" Valis asked, hope flickering for the first time. "Negative. The signal originates from the attacking fleet." The command room fell silent as the alien message played. The language was guttural, layered with an otherworldly resonance. The station's translator struggled to keep up, but the intent was clear. "This is the fate of all who dare trespass beyond their limits. You are unworthy of the stars." Valis stared at the screen, her fury mounting. "Unworthy," she hissed. "They have no idea who they're dealing with." She turned to her crew, her voice rising with determination. "We are not just settlers. We are humanity. Every challenge we faced, every battle we fought, has forged us into what we are today. They think this will break us. No, this will unite us." "Commander," Harris began, "our resources. We'll use what we have," Valis interrupted. "Send every bit of data we've collected to Earth Command. Even if we can't get through now, we'll make sure they know what's coming. And prepare the station's defenses. If we're going down, we're taking as many of them with us as we can." As her crew scrambled to carry out her orders, Valis allowed herself a moment to glance back at the viewport. Aurora Prime was burning, its surface a patchwork of flames and ash. But in her heart, she knew this was just the beginning. Humanity's story wasn't one of surrender. It was one of survival and vengeance. The alien fleet didn't realize it yet, but they had sown the seeds of their own destruction. The echoes of Aurora Prime's fall would ripple across the stars, reaching humanity's heart and igniting a fire that would burn brighter than ever before. This was not the end. It was the awakening. The forge of defiance. The silence within Earth Command was deafening as Commander Aaron Valis's transmission crackled through. The holographic display showcased the burning remains of Aurora Prime, once a thriving hub of humanity's hope, now a smoldering wasteland. Every voice in the vast command room was stilled, every face frozen in disbelief as the magnitude of the destruction sank in. General Elias Wren, a hardened veteran of Earth's armed forces, stood at the central console, his sharp eyes fixated on the devastation. He was no stranger to war, but this was genocide. When Valis's voice, resolute despite the tragedy, broke through the static, it ignited a fire that had long lain dormant within him. "We were unprepared," she declared, "but this is not where our story ends. Mark my words, they may have shattered Aurora Prime, but they forged something far stronger. Humanity's resolve. Send this message across the network. Let Earth know. Let the colonies know. And let the stars tremble." Wren straightened, his jaw set. "Admiral Roslin," he called, addressing the head of the Earth Defense Council, whose hologram hovered nearby. "We need immediate action." Admiral Roslin's expression was grim, her silver hair gleaming under the cold light of the command room. "You know what this means, General." Wren met her gaze without hesitation. "I do. Activate Project Vanguard." A murmur rippled through the room. Project Vanguard was a name that had existed only in whispers, a contingency plan so secret that even most high-ranking officials doubted its existence. It was Earth's ace in the hole, a program born from humanity's cautious skepticism about the galaxy's intentions. Roslin nodded. "Consider it done. But understand, Wren, there's no going back from this." "There never was," Wren replied. He turned to his team. "Prepare the Artemis fleet. This isn't just about retaliation. It's about survival." Far from Earth, Deep within an asteroid belt cloaked by a natural magnetic field, lay Vanguard Station, a fortress of steel and innovation. It was here that humanity's most advanced technologies had been developed in total secrecy. While the galaxy had seen Earth's outward-facing fleet, retrofits of outdated designs, and modest armaments, Vanguard Station harbored the true face of human ingenuity. Dr. Asha Patel, the station's chief scientist, stood on an observation deck overlooking the heart of the facility. The Quantum Forge. The forge hummed with energy, its core pulsating in shades of violet and gold. It was a marvel of engineering, capable of producing materials that defied conventional physics. The room was abuzz with activity as technicians worked feverishly to prepare the next fleet of ships. Patel's assistant, a young prodigy named Micah Reed, approached with a tablet. Dr. Patel, the first wave of Titan-class cruisers is ready for deployment. The upgrades to the Dark Veil cloaking systems have been integrated. Patel took the tablet, her fingers flying across the surface as she reviewed the specifications. Excellent. These ships will be invisible to anything the galaxy has ever encountered. We're no longer playing catch-up, Micah. We're rewriting the rules. Micah hesitated, his voice lowering. Do you think we're ready, Doctor? Against something like them? Patel glanced up, her dark eyes fierce. They think they've seen what humanity has to offer. They haven't even scratched the surface. The question isn't whether we're ready, Micah. It's whether they are. The alien invaders, known as the Xians, basked in their perceived victory. On board the Obsidian Spear, their flagship, High Commander Crix surveyed the holo-display of Aurora Prime's ruins with satisfaction. The Xian doctrine was clear. Expansion through domination. Weak species were absorbed. Those who resisted were obliterated. It was the natural order, as they saw it. The humans were predictably fragile, Crix said, addressing his sub-commanders. Their colonies are ill-defended, their fleets laughable. This was a warning. The next time, they will bow. One of his officers, a younger Xian named Larin, shifted uncomfortably. High Commander, I would caution against underestimating them. Crix's 4 eyes narrowed. Underestimating them. Did you not witness their pathetic attempts to resist? They are but insects under our heel. Larin hesitated but pressed on. Their history suggests otherwise. They've survived countless internal conflicts, rebuilt from catastrophes, and adapted to environments no other species would dare inhabit. Their resilience. Enough, Crix snapped. Resilience means nothing against overwhelming power. Humanity's time is over. But even as he spoke, a faint flicker of doubt began to gnaw at the edges of his certainty. The human's desperation had carried a peculiar weight, an unyielding defiance that felt unsettling. On Earth, preparations were in full swing. Factories shifted to war production, and entire cities rallied behind the call to arms. The news of Aurora Prime's fall had spread like wildfire, igniting a collective determination across every colony and outpost. Humanity's survival depended not on fear, but on unity. In a secure war room, General Wren and Admiral Roslin reviewed the latest intelligence reports. The Xian fleet has moved deeper into our territory, Roslin said, pointing to a series of red markers on the star map. They're targeting supply lines and resource hubs. Wren nodded. Classic strategy. Cut us off and starve us into submission. But they don't realize we've already anticipated this. He tapped the console, and the map shifted to reveal hidden supply depots and shadow fleets scattered across uncharted regions. We've spent decades preparing for this moment. While they strike at what they think are vital targets, we'll hit them where it hurts. Roslin's lips curved into a rare smile. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, Wren admitted. For years, we've had to play the role of the underdog, the naive newcomers. But now we show them who we really are. The room fell quiet as the magnitude of their task settled over them. Victory wasn't guaranteed. Sacrifices would be made. But one thing was certain. Humanity would not go quietly. As the first wave of the Artemis fleet prepared to launch, Commander Valis stood aboard the Tempest, one of the newly unveiled Titan-class cruisers. The ship's bridge was a marvel of technology, its systems integrated with advanced AI and neural interfaces. Valis felt a surge of pride as she addressed her crew. "Make no mistake," she began, her voice echoing through the ship. "We face an enemy that believes we're broken. They think they've seen all we have to offer, but they don't know us. Humanity is not defined by its losses, but by how it rises after them." The crew erupted into cheers, their determination mirroring her own. As the Tempest and its sister ships powered up, their quantum forge reactors glowed brightly, casting an otherworldly light across the hangar. These ships weren't just vessels. They were symbols of humanity's unyielding spirit. Valis took her seat in the captain's chair, her gaze fixed on the star-filled expanse ahead. "Set course for the Xian fleet," she ordered. "It's time to remind them why humanity doesn't just survive. We prevail." And with that, the fleet launched into the void, a storm of vengeance and hope hurtling toward its first battle. A storm unleashed. The Artemis fleet tore through space like a tempest given form. Each vessel bore the hallmarks of humanity's most advanced engineering, sleek and deadly, with hulls that seemed to drink in the surrounding starlight. Their quantum forge reactors hummed with untapped power, their energy signatures deliberately masked, leaving them as phantoms to any scanning technology. At their head, the Tempest, commanded by Aaron Valis, led the charge, its prow cutting through the void like the tip of a spear. "Status report," Valis called, her voice steady but sharp. The bridge of the Tempest buzzed with activity, the crew immersed in their stations, neural interfaces augmenting their reactions to superhuman levels. "Fleet is holding formation," Lieutenant Harris reported, his neural uplink sensing his words with a tactical overlay on the primary screen. "We'll reach the Xian forward fleet in 20 minutes. Valis nodded, her gaze fixed on the map of the battlefield. Red markers represented the Xian ships, a sprawling armada that dwarfed anything humanity had faced before. But the Artemis fleet wasn't built for a direct assault. It was built for precision, for overwhelming strikes that would cripple the enemy before they even knew what had hit them. "Prepare the Veil Protocol," she ordered. "We'll give them ghosts to fight." The bridge crew moved in unison, activating the ship's dark veil cloaking system. One by one, the vessels of the Artemis fleet disappeared from the tactical map, their presence erased from the Xian sensors. A cold smile tugged at Valis's lips. The Xians had no idea what was coming. Deep within the Xian fleet, High Commander Crix stood on the bridge of the Obsidian Spear, his expression smug as he observed the progress of his forces. The remnants of humanity's scattered outposts were falling one by one, their defenses crumbling under the relentless advance. For Crix, this was a routine exercise, a calculated display of dominance. "Status on the human colonies in Sector 9. Crix demanded, his voice a deep growl. "Sector 9 is secured, High Commander," Larin reported, standing stiffly at attention. Resistance was minimal. Crix grunted, his 4 eyes scanning the tactical map. "Good, keep the pressure on. Humanity's spirit is fragile. They'll break completely soon enough." But Larin's gaze lingered on the map, unease flickering across his features. Something was wrong. The humans' behavior didn't match their records. They had resisted too fiercely in the early strikes, and then gone silent too quickly. It was almost calculated. "High Commander," he began hesitantly, "we should increase surveillance. The humans may be regrouping." Crix laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the bridge. "Regrouping with what? Their laughable fleets. Their primitive technology. They're scattered, Lieutenant. Their colonies burn. The war is over." But even as he dismissed the warning, the tactical officer's console lit up with an alert. "High Commander," the officer said, his voice tight with urgency. "Multiple anomalies detected. Unknown energy signatures approaching from multiple vectors." Crix's smile vanished. What kind of signatures? They're human, sir. The room fell silent, the weight of the revelation sinking in. Crix's eyes narrowed. Impossible. Bring it on screen. The main display shifted, revealing the void of space. At first, it seemed empty. But then, one by one, shapes began to emerge, shimmering faintly against the starlight, as if tearing their way out of reality itself. They moved with an eerie fluidity, their dark hulls reflecting no light. Crix's breath caught. What are those? The first wave of the Artemis fleet had arrived. The Tempest surged ahead, its cloaking system disengaging as it emerged in the midst of the Xian fleet. The alien ships were enormous, towering behemoths armed with weaponry that had reduced entire colonies to ash. But against the sleek, predatory design of the Titan-class cruisers, they looked clumsy and outdated. Target their command vessels, Valis ordered. Cut the head off the snake. The Tempest's weapons powered up, their energy signatures barely registering before they unleashed their fury. Quantum phase lances tore through Xian shields as if they didn't exist, striking the vulnerable hulls beneath. Explosions rippled through the alien fleet as one command ship after another was obliterated. The Xian ships scrambled to respond, their weapons firing blindly into the void. But the cloaked human vessels danced around them, their maneuvers defying the laws of physics. The Artemis fleet struck with surgical precision, each attack coordinated to maximize destruction. On board the Obsidian Spear, chaos reigned. They're everywhere, one officer shouted. Our sensors can't lock onto them. Crix slammed his fist against the console. Deploy the full fleet. Overwhelm them with numbers. But even as reinforcements poured in, the Artemis fleet adapted. The human ships moved like shadows, striking and disappearing before the Xians could retaliate. It wasn't a battle. It was a massacre. Far from the front lines, Dr. Asha Patel and her team monitored the engagement from Vanguard Station. The tactical displays showed the unfolding chaos, each data point a testament to the success of humanity's long-hidden advancements. They're adapting faster than expected, Micah Reed observed, his eyes wide as he analyzed the data. The Xians are throwing everything they have. But it's not enough. Patel nodded, her expression focused. That's the beauty of our design. Every maneuver, every strike, feeds into the neural networks. The fleet isn't just fighting, it's learning. And what happens when the Xians figure that out? Micah asked. Patel's lips curved into a faint smile. By then, it will already be too late. On the battlefield, the tide had turned decisively. The Xian fleet, once an unstoppable force, was in full retreat. But Valis wasn't about to let them go so easily. Pursue and destroy, she ordered. Make sure they understand the cost of their arrogance. The Artemis fleet surged forward, cutting through the remaining Xian ships like a blade through paper. The Tempest's weapons roared, its lances carving through the Obsidian Spear's hull. Crix watched in horror as his flagship was torn apart, his legacy reduced to wreckage. As the Xians fled, Valis's voice echoed across the battlefield, transmitted on every channel. You thought we were weak. You thought we were prey. Now you know the truth. Humanity is the storm you never saw coming, and we're just getting started. The surviving Xian ships vanished into hyperspace, their defeat absolute. But Valis didn't relax. She knew this was just the beginning. The Xians would regroup, and the full scale of their forces had yet to be revealed. But humanity had shown its hand, and the message was clear. The storm had been unleashed, and there was no stopping it now. Shadows of retaliation. The retreat of the Xian fleet left a gaping silence in the void, one that carried the weight of their humiliation. Across the Artemis fleet, cheers erupted as the surviving human ships regrouped. The destruction of the Xian forces was more than just a tactical victory. It was a statement, a roar of defiance sent rippling across the galaxy. But Commander Erin Valis wasn't celebrating. Standing on the bridge of the Tempest, she stared at the remnants of the battle displayed on the tactical map. Her face remained stoic, but her mind raced. The Xian's retreat was tactical, not panicked. She could feel it in the way their ships had regrouped, their movements too orderly for a force that had been routed. "They'll be back," Valis said softly, her words cutting through the buzz of the bridge. Lieutenant Harris, seated nearby, glanced up. "They lost half their fleet. It'll take them months to recover." Valis turned to him, her piercing gaze unwavering. "You don't understand their kind. This wasn't a loss. It was a lesson. They'll study it, adapt, and return with something worse. We've won the battle, but the war is far from over." The bridge fell silent as her words sank in. The crew understood the stakes. Humanity had revealed its strength, but that revelation came with a cost. The galaxy was watching now, and that Xians weren't the only ones who would take notice.